So we're back. This is Picture and Score, and this is our 4th episode now. And this time we're going to be speaking about Blade Runner 2049, which was directed by Denis Villeneuve. And what a bloody film it was indeed. It's quite a, I would say it's probably quite a Marmite film going straight in. We've both watched the original, which we've watched several times and together, and kind of, apart from the third time you watched it, you sort of, was it
just second time
sort you kind of
felt a bit more focused on it,
yeah,
a few more things, but
yeah, I'm sure anyone listening that knows that Blade Runner is one of those films where you're either going to love it or you are going to hate it. It's probably a lot like a lot of Ridley Scott's films, to be fair. Certainly his recent ones anyway. But yeah, Blade Runner 2049, really enjoyed it. Really good. It's running at over 2 hours 49 minutes, something like that. So it's quite a bit longer than the first one.
And I think that's affecting the figures on the old box office at the moment.
Yeah, it's everyone likes a long film if you can, I think if you're sort of a film fan, you appreciate it more, but if you're just a general cinema goer, you are probably going to be
pushing it past the 2 hour mark.
Yeah, you're going to get pretty sleepy and bored and be sort of fidgeting and wanting to get out of the cinema. But yeah, so I mean, where to start really on this one?
So Denis made his sort of entrance into sci-fi with Arrival last year, didn't he?
Yes,
which was advertised as this kind of, it looked a bit actiony, but then when you got there, it just wasn't. It was very dialogue driven and very like a mystery thriller.
Yeah,
with like a sort of twist and all this sort of stuff going on. So I had some sort of expectations as where he was going to go with this.
Yeah, you can't. We kind of thing is we're massive fans already of his films and his style of filmmaking. So we knew that it was going to be in safe hands, and but it's the thing is, it's still in the back of our head. We weren't that hyped about it, were we? We were kind of like, we didn't want to be let down as well.
Mainly because of the first one.
Yeah.
I think obviously the first time I watched it, and that was with you, I hated it really.
Yeah,
apart from the visuals, it was kind of, and the music, it was just sort of didn't feel like there was much in it.
That's it. You could. It's not that there's not enough substance in it. I just think it's the story, just not. Either you don't care about the character because you don't know whether he's a human or a replicant, or it's just whether or not just you don't. I don't think there's enough time to get to love that character. He's very cold, and I suppose you could argue that with Ryan Gosling's character in the new one.
It's very moody. It's very still, isn't it?
Yeah, but I feel like that kind of it works in that environment and in that kind of world that they've created. But yeah, there's just something. I don't know if it's because we were too late to it. Perhaps if we'd seen it when it first came out, to be honest, I feel like we probably would have loved it. We'd have had the same reaction as we did with this one.
But the thing is, that had the same sort of thing as this one at the moment, with the box office just wasn't cutting it. And it did actually flop, I think, when it first released. It had that split.
Yeah, and then later on
didn't like it, and then it collected its sort of following later on. So maybe that's what happened with this one.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like it's just one of those things you just got to go and watch it. There's no way to describe it in a way. I couldn't sell it to you in any other way than it's a beautiful film. There's incredible visuals, incredible sound effects, and the music and the score. It is a cinema film.
It's the complete package. It's what you go to the cinema for. That's
it, exactly. It's that's why you go to the IMAX to see Dunkirk or a Nolan film. It's the same thing. You go to something like that to escape completely from reality, into a new world.
This was the first film in a while where I was just glued to the screen as well, and I didn't really. Sometimes I sort of feel like I'm blinking or just distracted and looking around the room a bit, but this time I was just glued.
Yeah, it's just it's so visually and audibly pleasing. That's it. You don't want to blink, so in case you miss any of the visuals.
The cinematography is just outstanding in this.
How he hasn't won an Oscar yet, I do not know.
Was it something like 13 times he's been nominated?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's a whole kind of Leonardo DiCaprio situation. Clearly, he's a talented man, and he's done some amazing films, even as far back down to The Shawshank Redemption, which. Realistically, when you think of that film, you wouldn't go, oh, the visuals and that amazing, but because the cinematography and it works well towards the story. So I don't know if he was actually nominated for that one. I'm not sure. I have to have a look into that.
It's quite a dark one, wasn't it? Whereas I think with this one, it's very colourful, and even though the camera's still, it feels still alive. You know.
It's a very much a lived-in world. The world of
and that's something I'll say about the original as well. That is one of the things I did take away from it. Is the world does feel very real.
Oh, definitely,
and really well lived in. It's just the set design and stuff is amazing.
That's it. It's weird. It kind of you almost feel you feel more attached to the world and you sort of fall in love with that world rather than you do the characters in it. I don't know. It's because they're presented as robots, and you obviously we're humans. We don't have as much sort of empathy towards a robot or a machine or some kind of even like an animal of some kind. But yeah, just something missing from it. I don't know what it is. I've watched it twice now. I've bought it again on Blu-ray. I'm going to watch it again.
It's like the second time. Isn't it?
Yeah, like I bought it the first time. I just like, no, I'm getting rid of that. I don't want to watch that again. Then when we watched it again together, and I was like, I appreciated it more again the second time. And I feel like hopefully now I've seen the second one, it just sort of sparks something.
I think that the second one makes the first one. It feels more, I don't know what the word for it is, more important, I guess.
Yeah.
It sort of leads up to the sequel, and it just, even though there was 30 odd years between the films, it just feels like it was a consistent
transition. Oh, absolutely,
It doesn't
yeah.
feel like it's just been made for money. I mean, obviously, because it's not made much, but it does feel like a proper sequel.
It's almost like with the second one as well, you kind of, because, going into the spoilers, we probably will spoil a little bit here, but what happens in the second one kind of, it makes you want to go back and look at the kind of either what you've missed or that relationship between Deckard and Rachel
yeah.
a little bit more, which is quite exciting because that's what I'm looking forward to go back to see and just trying to work out if how they fell in love, why they fell in love, if it was, are they human, are they replicants, who bloody knows.
I think one of the things that a lot of people sort of nitpick as well about the first one is that relationship felt a bit forced. But now with this film having, it sort of
the background of
that story, it sort of makes it worth it and a bit more realistic.
Well, that's it. With it being forced, when you watch the second one, you realise there's something that someone says is that actually maybe that relationship between them was put on like that for a specific reason. So it's possible that is the case.
I wouldn't say that it answers questions from the first either. I think it just gives more questions really. There's not many answers. It's just. But
that's the thing. It's not like some films you want answers to. This, I feel like if the answers were given, you wouldn't appreciate it as much. I don't. There's because the lines are blurred. It just gives it that sort of that aura of mystery and
it keeps you talking as well, and that's what I like about
it
keeps you talking afterwards for years.
Absolutely, yeah. If you can do something with a film like that, that's brilliant because then it's got repeat viewings, and that's what you want from a film. You want to enjoy something that you really like, and then go back and watch it several more times. Excuse me.
So the score for Blade Runner 2049 was composed by Benjamin Wallfisch and Hans Zimmer, and it was They obviously the original was scored by Vangelis, and it had this very warm and melodic feeling to it. It sort of captured the world, but in a different kind of way. It's sort of like a happy, even though the world was very dark and gritty, it was kind of like a happy, uplifting.
Yeah, it's almost like a sexy way. It's kind of very
with like the kind of the jazz approach as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the synths using jazz, and so Benjamin Wallfisch and Hans Zimmer this time have sort of tried to recreate that sound, that big ambient sound with the synths, and going back to analog as well. But also in this film it's quite dark, isn't it? It's like the first one was dark, but this one feels very bleak,
like
sort of,
real dread when you're watching it.
So the approach for this one was just very heavy, like blasts of synths, and I think the main one that really sticks out is Seawall, which happens at the Seawall in the film towards the end. It's just this massive, like, powerful.
It's just it works so well. That's the thing with like there's obviously a little bit of not so much controversy but talk about why Johan Johansson was taken off the film, and I mean I presume going on what Hans and Benjamin have done is that it must have been really really different to what they've done now. I feel like it must have been quite dramatically different to be taken off it.
He's done sort of ambient stuff with Arrival, which was Denis' film as well, but that was quite I feel like that was one of his first sort of films that used quite an electronic approach, whereas all his other films before that, like Sicario, it's been kind of orchestral, but like detached and sort of. It was strange how he did that, but for this one, I feel like maybe he was too orchestral, and he maybe.
It's got to be something like that, because I feel like he could have done the thing. He's got like the experience and the style of what that could have worked on Blade Runner. But obviously, Denny was kind of in his mind had something else.
I mean, it must have been tough choices. They've worked together for a long time now. They've done Arrival, Sicario, and Prisoners as well.
Yeah.
So obviously, it must have been quite a tough choice to send them away.
Yeah, I just hope that it's not that they've fallen out over something. I hope that genuinely was a creative decision mutually, and they'll come back and do some work together again.
I think it makes sense to go to Hans, because he's like the synth master of today, because he's got all those synths in the studio, and I feel like that's probably where his input came in with the score, is just adding all those sort of.
It's the thing is as well. It's so different to anything Hans has done before. I think it sounds like Hans, but he's every single time he does something that you just like, you just can't. It just reinvents himself every time. Which I presume that's a lot of help from Benjamin in this. Obviously, he was kind of the main guy, wasn't he? And Hans was kind of
I believe
sort of backing him up.
Hans was still on tour, and when he got back, Benjamin was already cracking at it and actually wrote quite a bit of it. And I think Hans probably was just there to sort of assist, maybe produce it, and then just drop in his synth work.
Lend him his synths and his equipment. But that's the thing as well with this score, and with the first one, it's just a character in itself. Without it would just you'd never get the same emotion.
And it has the same thing that Dunkirk has, and it's like it's music, but it's also sound design as well. That's what I like about Hans. He does use sound as a way of making music as well, and I think that's really clever.
I mean, there's certainly some. I mean, the one that sticks out to me is like that kind of that either an engine turbine or Formula One something. It just cuts right the way through the screen.
It's where they sort of maybe, I don't know, they might have done the sound design for the film as well, maybe a little bit for the engines. Maybe that's what they did, because it's the car that that Kay has, isn't it? It's got kind of thumpy engine to it. I'm not sure who made that, but maybe they did, and then they just implemented it into the music.
I can't remember if that's as quite. I don't think it's quite as loud when you listen to the score separately. I think maybe
probably
it is.
Bump it up a bit.
It was more of a mix thing, and it was actually in the film. But yeah, it's like, I mean, there's a lot. Actually, saying that there in some of the, even the Sapper song, I think there's a bit of that in there, isn't there?
There's a lot of it in Seawall as well, which is very loud and quite crunchy and distorted.
It's just like you listen to it, like, how the heck have you come up with that sort of noise? It's because it's not something normally you'd just play something and go, yeah, I like that. Someone's going to listen to that and enjoy that film. It's more that it's real. It's just kind of world building and sound and the atmosphere of what that world would sound like.
The thing is as well with this one is it's not very melodic. It's very sounds like, so to have a track there's the Blade Runner suite at the end, it's like 10 minutes long, but to have that keep your attention, just the music alone, and it's sound design, but it's the way it's been done and made that it's really interesting to listen to.
Yeah, it's different. It's not a normal thing to do. I don't think
you won't really leave humming. I don't think.
No.
You probably did with the original work. This one, I don't think you will. There's a couple in there, but they're not used.
No, it's because obviously with the first one you've got either the main theme that you'll hear. You certainly hear that in all the Blade Runner trailers, and then you've got Rachel's song, which is a bit more kind of lovey.
You've got the love theme as well, which is the big jazz one.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you've got the end credits thing, which is quite synth-driven. So yeah, there's loads of like melodic stuff that you'd leave the cinema sort of humming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't think you do.
Apart from, well, we were listening to it this morning, that one that we were humming to, I forget which track it was.
It's the Misa, isn't it?
Yeah. That's probably the most
that's only used
melodic
once,
one.
I believe, in the film. Yeah, that's a beautiful little cue. I love that one. I kind of wish it was used a bit more, but...
Yeah, it's just, I'm really excited to watch that film again. Really, really excited. It's just like a visual masterpiece. If they don't win some kind of award for this...
they're definitely going to get nominations.
They'd be silly not to. The thing is, well, they're going to be up against a lot of good competition come Oscar time. There's films that haven't even been released yet that are going to be in the running.
It's mainly sort of around sort of Christmas time they sort of start
Yeah.
bringing out all these kind of Oscar contenders as well.
Well, and also there's going to be a lot from like the London Film Festival. I was looking through that the other day, and there's a lot of films like there's that one about the billboards that's directed by the guy that did In Bruges, and there's a guy that did a film called Tangerine. He shot it on an iPhone. He's got a new one coming out, and I think there's little kind of I think there's going to be a lot of indie films that are going to be in the Oscars this year. But so that kind of might leave a little bit of gap for big blockbusters to slip in there. But yeah,
We shall see with that one. But I hope Deakins at least gets a nomination or a few nominations in all these different places and possibly pick up an Oscar. But it doesn't affect his craft, really, does it?
Oh no, absolutely not.
It just feels like it should be awarded to him.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, most of the time getting an Oscar just puts that person into the limelight a little bit more for, you know, general audience, you know, viewers, and they go, oh yeah, I remember watching that. I can see why that, you know, Spectre or Skyfall, Skyfall, not Spectre. That was different. TOP. You know, you can see why that works as a beautiful film. But yeah, I mean, the thing, I don't know how much we can talk about what happens in Blade Runner, because the problem is as well, the plot is itself a spoiler.
It is. It's a big one.
And it runs right the way through it. It's not just suddenly pops up.
It's literally the first 10 minutes, and you're like, okay, now I can see why.
Yeah.
They're being a bit secretive about the plot. It really is.
That's
not easy to talk about without spoiling it.
I wonder if you just talk a little bit about kind of like some of the CGI as well. That's so well moulded into the world. Like there's you've got the actress Ana de Armas, who is, I didn't even realise this, but she's a hologram.
Yeah.
And there's like a scene where they put a hologram over the other female actor from The Martian. I forget what her name is.
Mackenzie.
Something Davis, something like that.
Mackenzie Davis, I think.
Something like that. Anyway, she's gorgeous, and you've got another gorgeous girl they're just like, they kind of mould together in this, like the holograms over the real human. I mean, it's very clever. It's brilliant. Like, how they've done that.
The little bits with just the hologram with lights and stuff behind.
Yeah, and the background of the windows.
It's not like it's completely see-through. It's just a subtle glaze or something from the window or whatever.
Yeah, I'd really love to. I hope, for Christ's sake, they do really good behind the scenes on this, because there's a lot.
Plenty for the original, so I'm hoping
that's
they do
good.
the same for this.
Because there's so much, like, it's just really exciting to delve into how they've done some of these things. But yeah, I mean, I think as well, he's the director. He likes to do practical stuff.
Yeah.
Which I presume that's why we like him so much.
Along with Nolan. You know, this is in the trailer as well, with the sandy sort of desert, which is in Vegas. With all the models sort of laid down, I believe they were actually built like full scale.
Yeah, I think they certainly look real.
They look real, so I think they were like gigantic sets, and then just shot pieces through them.
If they weren't, they were either miniatures and then he was superimposed into them. But I feel like they probably were built.
Real. There was a very long shot, so I think it would be a bit easy to pick out if not.
But that's the thing. Like, there's some of those shots you're just like, how have they created that? It's incredible, because that orange is endless.
I feel like the film goes through a colour palette as well, doesn't it? It sort of
starts kind of white.
It's very bleak, but it's the way it's being shot is interesting to the eye. I don't know what it is, but I think it starts off quite dark and grey, but as it goes kind of like orange and bright, doesn't it?
Which is, there's still dread, but I suppose it's brighter. It feels not so much happy, but it is. There's more emotion. There's more warmth there.
I mean, I think that, without spoiling, I think the end was a lot more affecting than the original. I still like the original. Upon second watch, I found the ending of the original a bit more impactful.
Yeah.
The monologue was just brilliant, the Tears in the Rain monologue. But this one I felt like just affected me a bit more.
Yeah, it's... and also, it's kind of like they've kind of mirrored it as well, because in the first one it's very much rain. This is very much snow. There is rain in it, but and I think Denis said because he's from Canada, he just loves the snow. He just wanted to work in that snow, and it's really beautiful watching that just in some of those scenes. It's just like, it's beautiful people in beautiful scenes and beautiful weather. It's all the way through.
And the casting. Let's quickly talk about casting as well. Like. Everyone was just like on form with this one. It's
so
like
good.
Some films you have a couple that seem out of place, but they all felt well within the world.
Yeah, like they've been there for years.
Like Robin Wright and Ana de Armas and obviously Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Him coming back was great as well. I didn't feel like it was
Just a cameo. No, it
came in when he needed to.
That's it. He's not like I think people are going to be quite shocked at how little he's in the film. Okay, he's in like the last 45 minutes to an hour, but the majority he's not even in it.
But it's a very good performance as well. It's not. It doesn't feel. He actually feels like he wants to be there, and he does give it his all as well for that sort of returning role.
If as an outsider, I feel like he prefers his Blade Runner role than he does Star Wars.
I think that's evident in all the promo stuff he's been doing as well. With Force Awakens, it felt a bit like he was a bit grumpy.
Yeah,
I know he's like that anyway. But then with this one, you've seen him with Gosling, and it's like they're having a laugh, and they're sort of I think it's because it's his title of role, isn't it? So it's like it's his big thing.
It's his little baby. But and I suppose I would imagine he's probably like it with Indiana Jones as well. But and Gosling, brilliant on screen all the way through. It's very kind of it doesn't feel like he is in Drive. There's a few little moments where you're like, God, he's gonna get violent, and I actually wish there was a bit more of that. Actually,
yeah, he acts sort of how Tom Hardy does. It's very much in the eyes and just the slight movements in the face. It's kind of like a very low, subtle performance, but as the film goes on, it sort of unlayers. He unravels a bit.
Exactly, yeah.
As the story shakes him, you know.
But perfect choice for that role. I could not think of anyone actually to fit that role.
I was sort of sceptical at first when it was first cast, but yeah, I think it's perfect. I don't really see anyone else there.
No, I think the thing is with Gosling, he can do comedy, he can do serious, there's a lot of scope to him with that, and I think we're going to see that in the future doing some more. He's done obviously some really strange films with Nicholas Winding Refn, and I think it was really, really good.
I think he should sort of stick to this kind of dramatic role as well.
Yeah,
it's very good.
Yeah, it's funny because I think the last time I saw him in a film was The Nice Guys, which is a sort of a black comedy in a way.
I still haven't watched that, but I need to. That's now on Netflix, isn't it? So I'll have to crack on with that.
But he can do funny. He can do serious and funny in a good way, in not a cheesy way. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of wrapping it up really. I don't think we need to talk the spoiler.
We don't really need to sell it any more than that really. It's if you love Roger Deakins' work, then that's worth the price of admission alone.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just a visual
treat. It on the
treat.
biggest screen.
Yeah.
And the best sound system you can.
Definitely.
So it's worth making the little trip out.
It's not one of those ones where you go, I'm going to wait for DVD. No way. It's nice to watch it on DVD again.
I can't wait to watch it on DVD, but yeah.
It's a cinema film.
I might have to try and get it out again in the week, get back into it.
I'm hoping I get a chance. Probably not now that we're going to be away for a couple of weeks, but yeah, so I feel like we can leave that there. And yeah, definitely go and see Blade Runner. Go and watch it. Take fans of the old film as well, and see what they say, and just discuss it afterwards, because there is so much to discuss.
Yeah, there's a lot more in there than the original. I think there's just so much more crammed in with its run time. So I think it's
the big question of what came out of it is Deckard's actually a replicant?
And still don't know.
No, we don't.
And I like that. There was no resolution. I like that.
Which is the biggest mystery of all. Still 30 years later.
But maybe we'll see that in the next one. If they have a plan on doing it. If they do, I'd like to see Denis continue it, to be honest.
Yeah, because whoever takes that role on, Jesus Christ, they've got some pressure. I mean, he had some pressure anyway, but yeah. And
I'm glad, in a way, that Scott just produced.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's better with the idea of stuff, but he's kind of not very good at capturing it. He's not really good at directing it very well.
I feel like he's had his time. Either that, he's going through one of these. I think he's going through a Spielberg stage. It's just doing any old thing. He's
producing so much as well. If you look on IMDb and look at his producing credits for the next year, it's ridiculous. I don't know. It's not that he's lost it. I think he's got to the point where he's like, I'm not really bothered. I just want to do stuff that I might feel like that's fun. Well, which is fair enough, I guess, isn't it? He's sort of made the stuff he wanted to make.
That's it. He's done a lot of films. He's done some good ones, and he's done some bad ones. You could argue every director's done that. I'm sure. For example, I can straight away say that our biggest directing favourite is Nolan, but I would say the weakest of all his films was The Dark Knight Rises. So,
yeah, definitely.
without a doubt. Everything else, solid.
Yeah. So I guess we'll wrap it up and say what the picture and score is. So the picture was Blade Runner 2049, and the score. What did you give the score?
Oh, to be honest, I think it has to be a 10. It is. I couldn't rate it lower than that. It was brilliant.
I think I left it on a 9. Just because it's a I don't really rate things 10s too much. Cause it's like, it has to be absolutely perfect. I feel like it could have been a little bit of trimming, but other than that.
So we'll say overall then a 9 then. We'll give it a 9.
5, we'll do that.
Yeah, to be fair, so there's no arguments. But yeah, cool. All right.
We shall see you in the next one.